Welcome to That's Pretty Cool, a podcast by HOMESCHOOLED Nerd. I'm Vinny Harned.
I was not ready for that intro.
Well, just roll with it, man.
Stupid laptop charger just...
What's the matter with it? Is it not working?
It's the device actually system is not functioning.
Oh, yeah, that's... So, Joe's trying to get footage off of his phone that we recorded for a cooking video because we used two different cameras.
Stupid thing. My goodness. iTunes, get out of here. I tell you what, I'm so sick with iOS by this point.
I'm sorry.
Don't
I've enjoyed
quit.
iOS
Absolutely
a lot.
quit.
Like, I appreciate the technology they put into it, but compatibility issues are freaking ridiculous, dude.
Or just iTunes in general. Who thought that was a good idea? Drives me nuts. Anyway,
Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody.
Go ahead and
this is episode 2 of the That's Pretty Cool show. The podcast where Vinny and Joe talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. That applies to everyone individually, but mostly the geeks among us because no one else will enjoy this conversation I do. No one else will really can listen to us talking about stuff. And appreciate it. It's got to be people that we can relate to, which is surprising because we talk about such random stuff that you think anyone could relate to it, but no, because they don't think it's funny. But it's no big deal. I don't care. It's whatever. It's always funny when I encounter people from because we've had a lot of experience outside of doing YouTube comedy and gaming and stuff like that.
Right.
Because we started out doing a Christian astronomy podcast, spreading misinformation and lies like a couple of retards. Just kidding. Well, maybe I'm kidding. You decide. I don't really care.
It was a relatively cool show. We got to talk to a lot of really
cool
people, and I'm glad we did it.
I'm glad I did it. I really enjoyed that experience. But now looking back, it's just man, everyone I made connections with did not give a crap about me or the show. No. They were just oh, good, someone agrees with me. That makes me happy.
It made no difference. It was kind of sad.
I got so tired of saying the same things every week. I was just wait, I'm doing the same thing every week. Creation Museum's doing the same thing every week. Nothing, there's no advancements being made here. We're just, it's a real stalemate issue, right?
Yeah.
Because, it's kind of like gun control. Sorry to bring that up. But
it's fine. Speaking of gun control, I just learned how to control a new type of gun recently.
Really? Did you shoot it?
Oh, I haven't shot it yet.
You need to bring me with you because Joe got a new handgun this past week.
Yeah, it's a very cool pistol.
It's very nice. Very nice. It has an awesome little grip on it.
Oh, it's amazing. It's pretty nice. Yeah. I cannot wait.
So much for remaining neutral on the issue.
Yeah. Well, what's funny was about the this isn't neutral. I mean, you're from South Dakota. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, even someone from California can appreciate that to some extent. I think it was. I'm trying to remember. Don't quote me on this because I don't even know who she is, but I think Selena Gomez or someone like that, somebody famous who apparently thinks she's good looking. Anyway, she's anti-gun.
Yeah.
But she shot all these fancy, expensive, powerful rifles and stuff out in the desert in Arizona or somewhere.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't normally like violence, but that was fun. And I'm just like, oh.
It's not violent.
Is she always said, oh, bad guns, and then she was offered, hey, want to come shoot these cool guns?
Yeah.
And who's gonna say no to that?
Yeah,
even Jesse LaFleur and Corey DeMars, they're from California and they had a great time.
Yeah, but that. I mean, I don't know how. Well, they're probably. So there's a difference between a liberal and a far liberal. Mm-hmm. These days, though, it's gun control is just a thing that anyone will take to because it's just well, I don't use guns, so it won't affect me. Whereas someone like me, it's just I don't use guns every day. I'm not a big gun guy. Mm-hmm. But if you like I said, it's a stalemate issue. Every time there's a school shooting, the left restates their arguments, the right restates their arguments, and nothing happens.
Yeah, well, it was just funny.
People blame the right for the NRA and everything, and then the right blames the left for
not letting you have guns to prevent the situation.
Yeah, and and they do the same arguments, and that's it. And
in a way, I'd say they're both relatively valid arguments.
I would say
there are times when I think guns should not be that accessible by certain people.
Yeah, but, absolutely.
But a kid getting upset at school, we should monitor. If a kid gets super mad and he says, "I'm going to shoot up the school." I think you should monitor what he's searching on Google, especially if it has
Yeah.
anything to do with American firearms.
Well, at the same time, though, you open up a big can of worms there, because then
That is true.
the government could track anyone.
Exactly.
So you're saying that you're okay with the government?
I'm not
potentially
saying government.
tracking
I'm
your
saying
online
parents.
search?
I'm saying the parents should
Yeah,
know
but
about
what
the
if
thing,
the
but then
parents
again,
aren't around?
That is true. Well, that's
You
the
know,
problem. There's
that-
always something wrong with it. There's always
Yeah, there's
something
always
to fall through.
there's
But
always going to be some issue.
as I was saying with her, it was hilarious because she's very much so against guns.
Yeah.
And then there were these pictures leaked of her shooting these guns, and so her excuse was, "I'm not into violence. I don't like violence. I did enjoy it, but I don't like violence."
Yeah.
Basically
And, like,
saying it wasn't a good idea. Shouldn't shoot guns.
Shouldn't
but,
shoot guns.
But it's okay
It's
now.
fine.
It's okay.
I
It's
don't
okay now.
like. If someone like leaks something of me, like if one of my nudes gets leaked on the internet, and if like Christian parents are just like homeschooled nerd nudes leaked on the internet, I'll just be like I'll own up with it. Yeah. Yes, I took pictures like that. No, I don't think it's bad, and no, I don't necessarily want them to be leaked, but they did, and I'm not necessarily ashamed of it because, you know, I'm proud of my physique.
Moving on. Anyway,
Have you ever taken a nude?
no,
Never?
I don't
I don't know. I honestly did it once, or a couple times, just to say that I had. It's like,
That
you know,
is true. That is true. But I don't really want to go there. But you know, that is that there is that of wondering, what do I look like in someone else's eyes?
Yeah, what would I look
That
like
is
if
true.
I like?
That
Could
is-
I like make
there's-
myself look? You know, it's kind of like recording yourself. Like I would still record myself even if
Why are
no
we
one ever
talking
listened to
about
me.
this?
Well, because like I could like I was uncomfortable with my voice at one point, and like listening to
Oh,
myself has
good point,
really
good point.
has
That-
really improved like my
That
self-esteem.
is true. That is true. If you're gonna get married and you're very sheepish about how your handgun looks down there, I would say sure that might
Yeah.
be an option.
Yeah, dude. Are you ready for our cool fact of the day, Joe?
Absolutely.
Okay, fact number 33. I just skipped a few. Banging your head against the wall burns 150 calories an hour.
That's pretty cool.
Is that a lot, though? Like, for an hour of banging your head?
I am not
I don't-
sure. I mean, I don't think so. I think
Yeah, I must have burned a ton of calories when I was a kid, because I had this problem where I'd bang my head. Actually...
I reckon that'd take more because you're actually bouncing, so you got to kind of make yourself hit again after you stop.
Yeah,
bouncing,
well,
so
like,
you gotta
yeah, it
kinda-
is. It's literally like it's
So in that
it's-
case,
it's like
you
a
don't-
cardio workout.
Yeah, you don't suffer head trauma afterwards or get
Yeah.
a concussion, but instead you'll.
But yeah, I would like all the time bang my head on the pillow. It was just a weird. It was like a reflex.
Sure.
I know.
Yeah.
It wasn't a habit. I was just like, I would get like, I would suddenly. You ever had that thing where suddenly like, your mind suddenly like it's almost like it's when you're like falling asleep and all of a sudden you pop back awake and you're like, ah! You ever had that?
Yeah.
And like it's like that, only like, you know, I'd get scared, or my mind would scare itself, because my mind scares itself very easily. I'm actually still kind of scared of the dark, just because from my childhood.
Really?
Like, because I
I
wasn't
had
scared of
that
it.
for a
It's
while.
like, oh, I'm not scared of the dark. But then my mind thinks about, yeah, what if there was like a monster that came out and like, oh dang, I happen to run away from it. No, just barely. And it's like that tension. And like, it's. I think that's why like I enjoy some like horror games now.
Right.
I don't enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the ones where it's just like, oh, like Little Nightmares, where it's just like,
Yeah.
gonna make it, yeah, because like that gets your heart racing, and you can see it going on. Whereas Five Nights at Freddy's, it's just like,
Yeah,
That's
it's
it, like-
just it's just up in your face. There's no
Yeah.
that tension for 5 minutes.
yeah,
straight.
it's just
You're trying
I
to run
love
from
that
something.
tension. Like same way with
Yeah.
I was playing a game the other day that gave me that.
Well, what's funny is what got me over my fear of the dark.
Oh, it was
really
Watch
well.
Dogs 2. I was playing Watch Dogs 2, and like
'Cause-
I was trying to like break out of the place. I was like,
Okay.
oh, run, and like my heart was racing because like I was trying
Yeah,
to sneak
yeah.
around the guards and everything.
Those are probably one of my favorite kind of games. I need to actually help like design because you're learning how to design.
Yeah,
some
I'm
games.
working on
I should go
developing games.
into it and try to make like a spy a game where you're basically trying to sneak in somewhere and sneak out. Basically,
Yeah, that
you
would
should
be-
say
dude, that would
like
be
you can talk to
awesome,
people.
dude.
You got to say the right things. You know, don't say anything because if you say the wrong things, that'll trigger suspicion. And you can have
Yeah,
like a
dude.
suspicion bar, a stress bar. Because if you start getting stressed, people will see something's wrong with you.
That would be amazing.
I think it'd be really
dude.
cool. But what got me really over the fears of the dark was that we had chickens on the farm,
Uh-huh.
and every night after dark, I had to walk out there. It was probably a quarter mile, not super
Yeah.
far, but quarter mile, far enough that it was down a hill and over, so into the woods a little ways. So you couldn't see a thing. I didn't really have a flashlight, never really bothered taking one, so it was usually pitch dark when I went
Yeah.
out there, and for a while, that really bugged me.
Yeah.
Like, that got me good, but after about 3 years of that, it got to where I realized, you know, if
It's
by
no
any
big deal.
chance something actually is gonna come out of the dark,
Yeah. It's not
You
gonna
know,
be.
it
It's
hasn't
not gonna be a
happened up
monster.
till now.
Like
and it's
I
not
think,
gonna be a
like,
monster. The
I-
most thing it could be is a cougar because we had
Yeah.
those there. And
Uh-huh.
sure, if that happens, I'll either run or I'll fight it. I mean, I'll figure that out when I get there.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, like I think when you're a kid, you have a difficult grasp of reality.
You
Like
do,
it's that
you do.
fear of the unknown because you know so little. I have like a weird thing where I can't like. I haven't been able to overcome fears. Like these, like I have stood up in front of what you say that panel was like possibly 20, 30 people there.
yeah, probably about 30.
Not a huge amount, but like
It was a small
enough
room,
that
so
you'd
it
think I
felt
would be
like
very
quite a bit.
nervous, and I just stood up there and I did a lot better than I thought I was going to.
Well,
it was great. It was
we
a lot
started
of fun.
out nervous, but once you get started, then
Yeah,
you realize.
So
oh, it's
I
nothing.
do stuff like that all the time. I've been able to like do phone calls, stuff like that. But everything still terrifies me.
Yeah.
Like calling people on the phone freaks me out.
Yeah, I don't like
Texting
doing that
people
either.
even scares me.
Boy.
Get the idea of getting in front of people. I totally do it, but like the idea of it just freaks me out.
But another thing is like drive-throughs. Those can really.
Oh,
get
those terrify me as well.
That
And,
was
like
the thing
I
that
get
had to
really
over with
I get
recently.
really bad anxiety about that, and it's really annoying, and I don't know why.
I always like to I test myself by asking for something a little harder to ask for. Like
a-
you go to McDonald's and ask for an iced caramel macchiato with an extra espresso shot.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I got myself over the courage to ask for no ice in my root beer at Wendy's. And it's just like the simplest thing, but I was just
Yeah.
like, but what if they're just like, oh, this guy's doing just my ice because he thinks we put
Yeah,
too much ice in
yeah.
there. Which you do, Wendy's. You put way too much ice in your stuff. Like, seriously, that's like 90% ice. I get a large and like it's like a small because there's so little root beer
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
It's all the ice. Get it together, Wendy's.
Yeah, come
You
on,
have great
guys.
burgers, though. We talked about that last week, didn't we?
Technically-
How they messed up our
Oh, I think so,
sauce
yeah.
and burger. We actually were able to get the sauce and burger. I think. I don't remember.
we
this week or
discussed
this
that.
past
Yes, we
one.
discussed that. We
Okay,
discussed the
yeah,
sauce
those were-
because I said
those
it
were pretty
needed
good.
ketchup.
So yeah, we'll just keep going over things. We
This
already
week
talked
it's
about.
it's the McRib. The McRib
This
is
week
the thing
I really wanted to try it out. We were talking about
Well, the
trying it
thing
out
is,
today,
we'd
but, like,
never gone to McDonald's for ages because we got on kind of a health
Yeah.
kick thingy. And I do have to say that the fast food restaurants have been getting a lot better quality ingredients, surprisingly.
Yeah,
Like using real
I think
butter,
like people
real
are kind of
cheese.
like I think people are kind of like getting appreciation of like, wait a minute, we've been eating this stuff for years and it doesn't bug us. Why are we replacing butter with margarine? Why are we're getting rid of salt? Why are we getting rid of all this stuff that
Yeah.
for years has been totally fine? And so I think people are starting to wake up to the fact that this whole idea of like that we know better with health
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
that great. Like we know some things better. Like we no longer use leeches to or draw blood out
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah,
So,
there's
like,
a good reason for that. We figured that out a while ago.
but there's actually like just like we're like bleeding people. Like people used to do that to like for someone that had a stroke. I'm trying to remember what it did, but it just like it got rid of some of the pressure that built up for a stroke, and a lot of times would save a person.
yeah, it's
And
crazy.
it worked, but definitely we've gotten better than that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, but that's the deal. It's like
But I'm not just because people say, well, we need to stop bleeding people and wash our hands more.
and we
often.
need to get rid of the food that we've always eaten. It's like no,
It's like well then when they say egg yolks, get rid of egg yolks.
yeah,
Just eat the egg whites. You don't hear hardly a thing about egg white delight anymore. You heard that?
Yeah.
The egg white delight McMuffin sandwich.
Oh yeah, I mean
That's hardly a thing
it's-
anymore.
it's
You heard
a-
about
it's
that a
a,
lot. And now
it's kinda
people are
died
kind of
out.
like, wait a minute. We've eaten eggs for years. You eat egg
Yeah.
yolks all the time, and that's like what actually is nutritious in the egg.
right.
I think it even came to a point where people like turned around and said, the yolk is better for you. Don't eat the white.
Yolk. Yeah.
And then
I mean,
then
like-
they came out, eggs are fine.
Actually, I
Doesn't
think
bother
like what it was eventually they just realized, oh wait, actually you need the white and the
You need
yellow.
We're
together.
right back where we started.
Yeah, it's
This
like-
is science, people. This is science.
This
That's
is-
why you should always.
Oh look, we
question what
discovered a new
somebody
planet.
tells
It's
you.
Pluto. Just kidding. Oh look, we found 3 more Pluto planets. Just kidding. Pluto's not even a planet now.
Yeah.
Science has progressed. We have less planets now.
I know. It's like every time science supposedly, gets better.
It's like I love science just as much as the next person, but like I honestly just like making fun of it because people put so much stock in it.
yeah.
It's like one of those things. It's just like, oh, you really like that thing? I'm gonna make fun of it.
Yeah, well, science is great for coming up with theories on this, that, and the other. But when you start pushing those theories and assuming they're facts as soon as they're the question arises.
Well, like,
then a few years later, you're kind of behind of the people who've been doing the same thing for the whole time. Like, same with eggs or with bacon.
The thing is, like, with science is, like, you know, most theories get replaced after, you know, so many years. You know, like the theory of gravity. You know, that was held for several years.
Yeah.
Several hundred years after Newton came up with it. But then Einstein came along and replaced that model with a new gravitational model, the Einstein model. And, you know, that stuff like that's cool because, like, you know, nobody argues that gravity exists. It's just the way it works that, like, is confusing. Because we honestly, like, for all that we've advanced when it comes to, like, science, we have a lot to learn, you know?
Right.
Like, well, there's a lot more that we don't know. There's no way to know right now. Like, you know, what is the binding force of an atom? We call it the gluon, but no one's ever observed one. Yet, you know, we don't know how atoms are held together. And, you know, we don't know how everything sticks together to form, you know, all these molecules and...
Right.
You know, it's stuff like that. You know, it's just, it's interesting to see how science progresses. But, you know, don't put too much stock in it. You know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put all your eggs in the YouTube basket or the science basket.
Exactly.
Or, I don't know, even, like...
I've put all my eggs in the YouTube basket, and I've lost all my eggs.
There goes all your eggs, dude.
I know, yeah, you can't... You
lost it all in the YouTube apocalypse.
You save one for a muffin.
Oh, fun fact, though, on Homeschool Nerd main channel, for the first time all this past year, our watch time is starting to go up.
Really?
So we were at 50% of the watch time we needed, and now we are at 65%.
Oh, that's
so
better.
That happened in the last month.
Huh.
It's like because we had a couple spikes these months. October was really bad though.
I noticed that.
October was really bad for us. Probably with the YouTube glitch and introducing new features, stuff like that. It kind of can mess you up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a supposed
and also like
Project Zordo.
What?
Supposedly, these people who put on a mask from the people that is designed to look like the people from Anonymous. You know those guys?
No, I do not.
They basically it's just a guy who represents them, talks about what they did, but to hide his identity, they change his voice, and he puts on that mask.
Okay.
You know the classic white mask with the mustache and all that
kind
of eerie looking thing? Anyway, that's what they did. He had a hood on, had the background, you know, like fuzzy and stuff. And we are Project Zorgos or something. Anyway, and they're like, we are taking over YouTube channels. That glitch you experienced was us. Blah, 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 blah. We are taking over as many channels.
They're taking credit for that.
I think so, yeah. Of course they're taking
I mean, obviously, like, it's possible someone could hack into Google, but they're not going to just come out and say, surprise, everybody, we did it! And then
now we're taking over this channel.
Surprise, we legitimately did that. If Google for real had, like, a hacking thing, they would, like, shut them down. But that actually was from them shutting down Google+. Yeah, they shut down Google+, but that was so much integrated into YouTube that, like, a lot of stuff didn't work. Right. So the whole website kind of
I'm trying to remember what they said that made me realize, this is fake. This is so dumb. Like, I knew it was fake, but then as soon as they said that, I was like, oh, there it is. I think it was something like, we shut it down for a few days, but then brought it back just to show you we can.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, and then they were like, we're taking over every channel, you know, these channels we're starting with, and we're going to upload this video to each one of them, and each channel has that video on it.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, of course. Yeah, they didn't just say, yeah, we'll slide us a 20 and we'll upload your video, because you know what? That's another YouTube drama thingy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as
and imagine
all the other junk that's been going on. You come up with a dumb, overhyped story, make it sound crazy, exciting, and scary, and people are going to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know... YouTube has become such a such a weird show recently.
I kind of feel sad to even be trying to be on it at this point. I kind of want to be like,
but like, my motive is just to make content, right? Like, you know, there's people who go on it to make a business. People who go on it because they think they can play games and make money off of it.
Yeah.
And I always tell those people, don't spend too much time on it, because like you need to be developing actual like skills through this. Don't just play games. If you're gonna make a gameplay channel, learn how to edit really well.
Yeah.
Like go on over and beyond what a normal gaming channel does. Not because you'll get famous, but because you'll develop skills that will be extremely helpful for you in your future. Even if you never, like, you know, YouTube has given me a lot of, like, just normal life skills. Like, you know, I'm better at speaking now. You know, I mean, obviously people still say I have trouble with my voice. And admittedly, I do. But you know, compared to where I was 5 years ago, I have improved a lot. And you know, and it's given me like skills and like, you know, keeping tabs on myself, keeping myself productive, giving myself deadlines, stuff like that.
Right,
Which is really helpful for all of life. But you know, I that's just what my advice I always give is just like, you know, just do YouTube, yeah, because I love doing YouTube, but like, you know, if you're gonna do it, have like some kind of purpose, so that if you don't become famous, you didn't waste your entire childhood, you know. Which honestly, most people waste their childhood anyway, so don't stress too much about it. You know, those first 20 years of your life are honestly the hardest. Not the hardest, but like, they're the hardest to get anything done. And then people then we're like, oh, I'm adult, I can't do anything. Like, no, that's not true, dude. You can't.
It's kind of what it feels like, though. You know, you gotta make sure. You know, you gotta make yourself.
Do you know how many adults binge 20 hours of Netflix a week? Do you know what you can do with those 20 hours? You could do. You know, you could
do anything from learning how to edit videos to learning how to remove hail damage from your car's hood. I heard a guy talking about that just a little while ago. He actually owns a little, very random story, but that guy we're working for, he has a RV park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I worked there.
Very cool guy. Very cool. He likes us really well for some reason. Anyway, he was talking about how he's like, if people would just, you know, instead of sitting down in front of the TV for 2 hours every evening, if they would just drop the excuses, take a hood from a totaled hood, it's got the holes in it, shine a light on it, set it up on a 2x4 frame, and just look at it. You just stare at it till you can see those indents, and you just rock, like, say they have special tools, but you can use a baseball. Take a baseball and roll it.
I've like read this.
And finally, you know, you can't just push it out. You gotta rock around
roll
and
around
slowly get it,
kind of bring it out.
push it out a tiny bit at a time. Cool. It was very cool. You know, he made it very obvious that, you know, you could remove hail damage from your car and bring up the value of it by like $1,000.
Yeah.
Just by learning how to do that. Of course, I'm not saying go out and do that. That's not for everybody.
My point is just like, you know,
there's something you could do.
For those of you who graduate high school and think that your life is over, don't stress out about it. There's a lot more in store for you, and you know, it's gonna be awesome. And you know, don't give up on your dreams just yet. You just gotta pursue them smartly. You can't just go willy-nilly about it. And plus now that you're having to work 40 hours a week, you also have this crazy thing called money. Yeah. Maybe you don't have enough of it for everything you want to do, but you know, you have more money than you did when you were a kid and had to just ask your parents for allowance. And you know, if you do good on your job and do good on your hobbies, then you have money to do both.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Vinny's motivational advice for today.
But I would suggest don't expect your hobbies to ever pay back. Because if you expect to hopefully start making money with your hobbies so you can quit your job, you're going to grow very unhappy with your job, want to spend more time with your hobbies, and get frustrated with your hobbies quicker than you should, and maybe even give up on them before you should.
I got a different take on this. Maybe like I see like what you're saying, but like for me, like learning coding. Just like learning coding, I could abso-freaking-lutely get a job in that as soon as I've learned it, because there's always room for people who know how to code, just because so few people want to do it.
It's not a
exciting fun job. But for the people who enjoy doing it, like myself, you know, I could get a job somewhere and do really well with that.
Yeah.
So if that was my goal, then I would be really motivated to keep working on coding and just like, I have to work on this job for now, but I'm getting better at my coding, and when I'm good enough, I'm gonna be able to like join a game company, game developing company. You know, I'll go work for the new, relaunched Telltale company.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if they're actually restarting. I know Toys R Us is. They literally just fired everyone.
I know.
Took a 2-month break and then brought their whole thing back. It's just like, jerk move, guys. Like, you know, no wonder those
maybe wanted publicity. Who even
thing
knows?
Is like, who's gonna work for Telltale at this point? Because like, you know, it's like, no, you guys messed up. You hired people, and then a month later ended up having to fire everyone except like a small team to finish up the games that I still have announced that you need to release. So it's just like, you know, if I was just like, they're like, oh, we're hiring. It's like, unless I was like in a really bad place, like I needed to work really bad, I wouldn't just go there. I'd just be like, nah, let's go to this other place that actually doesn't fire people.
Yeah.
A word of warning though, like anyone doesn't know anything about like the game industry but wants to join, be aware that if you join a company, crunch time still exists. Like that's existed since the early days of video game industry.
Right.
You're gonna be working late hours trying to get things done. You're gonna have to work during vacation a lot of times, depending on what company you're working for. It's a tricky business. It's a tricky business.
I feel like,
But,
when it comes to working with the game, I feel like we could make really good games because I would combine a bunch of things that I love about games.
Yeah, well, like, I think,
Because
like...
I enjoy a lot of different types of games, but I don't really enjoy any specific game thoroughly more than the rest.
Yeah, I think...
it's kind of one of those even things. I enjoy taking time off and sitting there by myself and doing nothing, and I enjoy hanging out with large groups of people.
Yeah.
I can go back and forth and be an introvert or extrovert depending on how I'm feeling in a day. And so I can, kind of figure out, this is what I think would be really cool. Kind of like with that spy game we were talking about.
Yeah.
I think that would be great because it kind of combines the things that made Detroit Become Human really cool.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
it combines the things that make Little Nightmares or any escape game.
Yeah, which it was
Pretty
like,
exciting,
I've been listening to a lot of like podcasters who are like game developers, and they're just like, no, I don't really play games. Like, I don't really like games that well. They just like make them,
Right.
and like all them, they're always like, oh, we'll just make simple mobile games for free and put ads on them. It's like, you a-hole.
I know. Yeah.
Do you know how annoying those games are? Because I've been like checking them out because I'm just like, I need to know kind of what the market is right now for like mobile
That's
games.
like a musician
sucks,
that doesn't
dude.
listen to music.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
It's
that's
just
the
like,
problem with modern
they don't
musicians.
get game
They
design.
don't really. I doubt they listen to classic music because
No,
the classics
they can't. Like,
are where you get ideas for music from. You know,
if
Bobby Kimball from
maybe
Toto?
maybe they do listen to it, but they don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And like that's fine if you don't necessarily enjoy it, but you still need to be able to like appreciate the art form.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to rip on people's musical tastes. I get it. We have different.
Well, I guess I'm just thinking that like I heard the history of Bobby Kimball a little bit from Toto. I don't have it perfectly down, but he grew up in Texas, singing and playing the guitar, like sang country music and classic rock stuff.
Yeah.
And he
Which
would
back then,
play all kinds of stuff.
back then, country music isn't what it is today. Back then, country
Not
music
at
was
all.
was
Country
a
music
lot
was-
better.
It was.
It was a ton of fun.
There's
It
some
was just
that I
fun
actually kind of
music.
enjoy, you know?
Well, absolutely. I mean, like we were part of a band for a little while there, and it was like,
And I was like,
one of the
I like
a really
this
fun
stuff.
experience.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like, if it hadn't been for the fact that we had to play late at bars, I would have stuck with it.
So
but,
really,
like,
the most fun I ever had was in a tiny little town called Wall in South Dakota. If you ever go through South Dakota, you'll see a lot of billboards from it because they have this drugstore, Wall Drug. Basically a whole little town inside of a store.
yeah, but we were like
almost.
at the
We were
community
right
center.
across from that at the community center of that town. People from all over came and we just played for the afternoon.
Yeah, it was a
from,
great
like-
big crowd. It was a lot of fun. Or like the one where we did a late show. It was still late, but it was like at a fire. It's like a firehouse fundraiser, and later in the evening, people were out on the dance floor. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, very good time.
And
There were a few that I really enjoyed. The ones I didn't were like I think the two times that I absolutely hated was both when you weren't there. 'Cause that kind of just
well,
fell
like
off.
when it wasn't with us,
'Cause-
like because they had a different bassist at one point with you playing the drums.
That
and
made it
she
horrible.
apparently I can't speak for you, but according to you, she was a bit of a jerk.
She was not nice. She swore like a sailor. She was this old short lady who was kind of full of herself in the strangest way. In all the strangest ways you can imagine. But the first time it was just you weren't there. I was extra tired. I'd worked hard all that week. And I didn't really want to be there, and you weren't there, and so I just kind of sat there and just
it's
played when I had to play. When I got a break, I took a break, and I just got through it. Got the $100 for playing and moved on.
I think
that lady, I had already had these drum lines for the entire song.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
kind of like if Toto got a new bass player and told
and the bass
Jeff
player
Picaro
told
back in the day, hey, don't play the Rosanna Shuffle like that. You can't have boom, pa boo, boo, pa. You gotta go boom, boo, pa, boo, 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 pa. That's kind of what she was doing. Trying to simplify it
She wanted
extremely.
you to-
Well, like this one part where I kind of had a swing jazzy feel
Yeah,
to
and she
a
didn't
more
like it.
laid back song they were doing, and that really helped it to feel more colorful.
It's one of the things.
And she kind of just wanted to have the bass line. She was going dut 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 dut, and I'm like, this is not metal rock. This is country. That doesn't even fit there.
Yeah, she.
And I'm the one who's
she
actually
wasn't even
from
that
the
good of a
band.
bassist, and she just thought she was like some kind of rock star.
Yeah, it was pretty frustrating. She had a nice bass, or two of them actually.
Well, people that full of themselves spend a lot of money on stuff.
That is true.
I don't. I don't want to. Anytime I rip on people, I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, it's like, don't be a jerk, guys. Like, there's people in the world that will remember you for being a jerk. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people remember you for being nice.
Yeah.
But at least they remember you for that.
Yeah.
And and that'll be the only really memory they have of you is like, oh yeah, he seemed nice.
Yeah.
You know. And if they do get to know you really well, then you'll make some really good friends.
The main thing that I knew I was gonna have a bad night was when she started talking about how there was this other lady drummer she would play with, and she basically implied that she was like, oh, we were the only ones, me playing with her and her playing with me. We were, that was just the only way it could be good because we'd stick together on the bass and it sounded perfect.
We're just a bit.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. What if I did that when we're playing at church? It's like, I'm such a great bassist. Me and Joe, when we play together, that's the only way it's good.
It's so good.
It's
if I
so
leave,
good.
you guys are screwed.
I wish.
Here's my 2 weeks
I honestly wish
notice.
I'd get a better bassist, because, I'm not that good at the bass, honestly. I mean, sure, I've been playing it since I was 12.
Yeah, but
for the amount of time I've been playing it, I'm not very good. Mostly because I haven't really committed it to.
I think what would help you learn to get a lot better, because I wasn't honestly that good at the drums until more recently.
Yeah.
What changed is I bought a professional drum set.
Oh yeah.
Then
I think if I fix
I'm
up my
like,
bass,
this is how I've always wanted it to sound.
Yeah.
So when I play something right, I can actually tell. Whereas before,
it's kind of like getting the good piano. Once we got that baby grand piano.
Oh dang, yeah.
Is like I was suddenly remotivated to learn piano because I can it actually sounds good, and I can really hear what it's actually gonna sound like on a real piano. And then even when I go to a junker, at Jana's house.
Then you can even enjoy
my girlfriend's family's house. I can play on their clunker, and I can still make it sound good because I know. This is how you make a clunker sound good.
Yeah.
You gotta do a little funk on it.
Well, it helps you learn to play with feeling when you have a better one too. That makes the biggest difference in music.
Getting that if anyone's trying to learn music, try to just get to the point where you can play songs you love, because honestly that's what changed playing piano for me. That's what makes bass suck so much, is that I only play songs I
never
hate,
play songs you like,
and I never get to actually play with songs I actually like.
Well, I think we should take an entire year dedicated to getting better at instruments, music and stuff, and singing, and do a cover of Rosanna by Toto.
Yeah, well,
for any of you who don't know what it is, check it out. Amazing song, because it's got
if people
the bass
Rosanna,
line. It changes from just a standard bass line to a slap bass during the chorus.
Yeah,
the drum line
song.
changes all the time, and
If you don't know Rosanna, you must not know very many classics. So maybe get it together a little bit.
I thought I knew classics a year or two ago, but when I discovered
not
Africa
really.
was. That is true. That is true. I kind of
I knew that I knew some classics, but I didn't I'd never listened to classic rock songs aside from Paul Simon and some others. But Toto was my real big introduction to the '80s, and now
they've almost taken
my favorite
over
kind of music.
Yeah, I know. Now it's almost taken over. Basically taken over my favorite band. I mean, They Might Be Giants are always going to.
They Might Be Giants. It's timeless classic, dude. You can't.
You can't
replace that
them.
in my heart.
It's always going to be. Even if I go 3 months without listening to them, when I hear their music again, it's it just makes you feel so good, because you're like.
Well, it's kind of like Scott and Brendo. I can listen to Scott and Brendo all day long.
Yeah.
I'm sad that they only have 2 albums, because I would love more Scott and Brendo.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I guess they've been releasing some singles here and there, but it's been a while since
I thought it would be really
cool
cool to take a long time and basically do like you said, playing music you love and singing it makes a huge difference. If you want to learn music, don't just play something that they say this is a good song to learn.
If you want to
find a song,
if you want to be in a band, and that's your only motivation, you can join any band. But if you want to be in a band that you love, it's gonna take a little while to get there, because not a lot of people are gonna love music the same way or sing kind of music that you do. Yeah, I think that's what makes that kind of idea, that dream, hard to pursue, is because you can't do it yourself. You need at least another, depending on what kind of music you're going for, you need at least another person. if not a whole entire slew of them.
But I really would like to branch out to music because that's a really good thing to do alongside YouTube. You know, they kind of can go hand in hand really well. But I think it'd be really cool if we took say each of us took 10 of our favorite songs that they really mean something to us. You know, really just hit us in like a certain moment in life, and do great big cover album. You know, just as kind of a practice and an introduction to us recording and everything. You know,
right? Yeah, and recording music takes a lot of more than just being able to play it good. Is my big issue because mixing it is a big thing, and doing the mastering and making it sound good. There's a lot entailed there, and
it's unbelievable.
It'll take me a long time to learn.
So many people do electronic music only. It's quite a bit easier because you don't have to worry about mixing it
even then, you still have to worry about mastering and making it sound good and levels and everything. It takes a good ear. It takes a lot of work to make it sound good, and when we record our first album, our parody album, it's gonna be a lot of work, and I'm not looking forward to that aspect of it, but I'm looking forward to getting it done.
Right.
Which we'll probably just be talking about on this podcast for several years before we even get it out. But
goodness, it'll be a while. But that's because I think we both need to especially me. I need to strengthen my singing voice. I've gotten a lot better. But I want to reach much higher notes.
Yeah, well, I just want to get a stronger voice, and I've been working on it, but it's not easy, because if you don't not naturally have that, it takes a lot of work to kind of push through that. Yeah. And also I want to get good recording equipment, a voiceover mic is the main thing I'm wanting right now. Right. But anyway, I'm sorry, not to get off on a tangent that no one cares about. It's we get it. You like 80s music. Suck it up.
Yeah.
You old fart.
I wish I could say I love all music.
I belong in the 80s, dude.
Honestly, there's some really good 70s stuff, Hungry Eyes by
Eric
I feel
I at heart, I'm an 80s kid, even though I grew up in the 2000s. Because, I love arcade games. I love that kind of, when I go to the, Push Start place. Is it Push Start? Press Start. It's this arcade bar in town. Mm-hmm. I don't drink, so that makes the environment a little weird for me. Annoying. But going in there is just oh, this is glorious. Look at all these arcade. There's so many great arcade games. It just brings me back in a way that it could never, because I don't have that nostalgia. Well, I kind of do, I guess, because I grew up on plug and play arcade games.
Well, I think that's why I have really fond memories. I wish I could have spent more time at that one skating rink. It was a very old one, so they had Mario Bros, Pac-Man, all those old arcade games. And you'd roller skate, listen to old music, and it's just one of those things.
I want to have a skating rink party where you just have the arcades there,
and arcades, and play 80s music,
play 80s hits.
I'd say a stroll down memory lane, but it'll be a roll down memory lane.
It very much that kind of environment feels 80s.
It does. It
just feels like a place that people back then would just go and do. I don't claim to know the 80s that well, but
well, not at all.
I love the culture, so that's how I know what I know about it. But anyway, hope you guys are all having a good week. By the way, these podcasts are usually released on Wednesday, but
hopefully this
hope you had a good week this week. Hope you had a good week last week.
Hopefully the week is going
hopefully all your weeks are going good.
If it's not going good, hopefully it goes better, and if it is going good, hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, hopefully
that's what we're trying to say.
Hopefully last week y'all went out and voted, because it's very important. People,
I sure didn't.
People died so that you could do that. I mean, I didn't vote because I don't believe in supporting a two-party system where a majority of the population decides what's right and wrong for everyone.
I didn't vote because
busy.
We are swamped.
This is this is the first time there's been an election that I didn't vote since I became 18 and was capable of voting. Or is it 16? Is it 16?
It's 18.
It's 18. That's what. Okay. I wasn't sure. I felt like it could have been 17, but it's 18. You're right. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So I voted in the midterms before the presidential election, and then in 2016.
The presidential election?
I don't. Maybe I only voted in the presidential one, because I think that was actually when I turned 18.
Oh.
So I think that was the first time I voted.
That would be 2018. Then, so that sounds about right. You're probably 19 actually.
Yeah. I mean, even at that point, I didn't care to vote that much, but I still did. And I remember the first time I was just because I'd never voted before. No one really explains how exactly it works. I was just oh, it's just this about sheet and like a bunch of names I don't recognize. Like, oh, well, let's see here. I'm just gonna pick random ones I think sound good.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, whatever. You know, honestly, like it's like I always say, your vote counts. Your vote always counts as long as you agree with the majority.
Yeah.
People are gonna be so mad if they listen to this. Fortunately, not that many people listen past the 30-minute mark of an hour-long podcast episode on YouTube.
Well, you know.
But I mean, you know, later on, who knows if this podcast become famous? I'll get a whole bunch of letters. Oh, I can't believe you say that. You know, people died so you could go vote. They died. They died. I mean, you know, technically they died because there was a war, and that's what people do in the wars. They fight and die.
Yeah, and then the country that wins goes home with all the money and the
and then the country that wins gets to be like, you fought for the good fight, and the country that loses is kind of like, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, veterans are cool. Like it's kind of weird because like,
or they do like Japan and feel really bad about it afterwards.
And then they send us anime.
Yeah.
And they took over our country.
It is crazy though. Japan is like still trying to the government's still trying to make peace with people. Countries that they've done wrong to, and the countries that like,
I think like honestly,
and I'm like,
well, I think America is like really cool with Japan, just because we feel bad about dropping an atomic bomb on them, which we had no idea what it was gonna do, what it did. Like
then after we dropped the first one, we decided it was necessary to drop a second. And
I think America. I think like they just didn't realize the amount of like just the whole amount of tragedy, the devastation that those were gonna cause. Sorry to get off on a
I think everyone just kind of stared and was like,
yeah, I think like everyone kind of didn't feel the greatest about that one. I certainly wouldn't. Like, it's like, yeah, we stopped the war, but dang, like,
what a way to have to do it.
Yeah, and like, so like I think that's why America's just like, we never talk about Japan as if they're the bad guys, because we feel like the bad guys.
Besides, they brought us the Wii.
Yeah, they brought us so much great stuff, dude.
Like if there was ever a war between Japan and America, I would be so upset.
Yeah, I mean, like Japan is just like, you know, they try to be technologically advanced, and they did a great job. Problem is they just keep sliding back. Like for a while there, they were ahead. Now they're just kind of getting behind. They're kind of catching up again, though. Like, you know, they're making more innovation stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. Japan has a real drive. Like the Japanese people have a drive to be ahead. You know, first it was like, oh, we want to be ahead militarily.
Well, have you watched the Studio Ghibli film, The Wind Rises?
No, I haven't.
It was a very recent one. It was actually very cool because it was the history of how the war even happened in the first place. Like the beforehand. Right. They were trying to design airplanes. They were behind. Everyone else was making them out of metal, and they were still using, you know, wood and cloth and stuff. And they couldn't handle the higher speeds, and they would fall apart, and it just wasn't working. And it was this really smart kid who grew up loving airplanes and learned to design them. He couldn't fly because he had very poor eyesight, but he could design them and was really smart. And so it was a very cool story. It really showed it from a cool point of view because you don't really hear it from the, you know, why Japan was where it was, because the country was suffering big time. They kept having earthquakes. They'd, they'd pull themselves back together, rebuild, lose money, get back up. They'd have another earthquake and have to rebuild their cities again. It was crazy. Yeah.
I've always wanted to visit Japan because it seems like such a cool place. But, like, I would not want to be, like, a Japanese person because they struggle with so much stuff there.
It is.
And, like, I think they're getting somewhat better, but they still, like, struggle from long work days. And, like, this isn't, like, me... I'm not ripping on Japan whatsoever. This is a problem that exists in a lot of places, but Japan especially. And I think that really shows the problem with... the corporations getting out of control and that being the only motivation for people, because they lose the focus on family. The focus on the family. They lose that. They lose a lot of like their culture because so much of their culture revolves around having to work a lot, and that I don't know. I don't like. I get the whole like people will be like, oh, regulations. I don't think regulations are really ever the answer because I'm a firm believer in the free market. But I think like there are some cases where just like you need something. I don't know. I don't think like government regulation is the answer because I think that's more the problem.
Yeah.
It's because that makes it harder on companies, and so companies are then harder on employees.
That's why I would want to be the president of any country, because
No, dude,
you try
'cause,
to
like-
fix one problem by taking something else, and you make more problems. It's
Dude,
kind of like trying to
screw
give
that, man. I mean,
it's
like,
kind of like trying to give somebody land. When you give
Yeah.
somebody land, somebody else loses it. You move a landline, someone gains, someone loses. It always
yeah.
happens.
I mean, like,
it is so hard to fix.
that's the
something
thing
in a
people don't
way.
understand about equality and stuff like that is that there's no such thing as like
No.
your
Basic income.
If you're
To get that money, someone is losing it. That
Yeah.
doesn't matter who it is
someone-
or how it's happening. The problem is
no
someone's
matter
losing
how
it.
you slide the bar,
Yeah.
someone's gonna lose
Mhm.
out. And for instance, just like if you give slaves, if you remove the right, give slaves the right to be free, you remove the rights from the slave owner. That's a good thing,
Yeah.
I think. But that issue, that same mindset shifts to everything then. If you
Yeah.
remove the rights, okay, if you take away the right for someone to hire, if you take away the right, okay, if you give someone the right to fire someone because, or not hire someone because they don't want to hire a homosexual person,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a good thing because I'm a believer in the free market. But then you have to be willing for someone to not hire you because of your faith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's just the way it works. And if you as a business want to have the right to deny someone's service, you have to be willing for some people to deny you service for something that maybe you don't think you should be discriminated for. So that's the thing, is like, you remove all discrimination, you better keep it that way.
Yeah,
If you're not allowed to discriminate against someone because of their sexual orientation, you better not be wanting to discriminate against Christians, because then we're gonna have a problem here. But I think that's
kind of
like,
what we see.
I think that's my issue with is like, I believe in gay rights, but I don't think the gays are right.
No.
I hope.
Right.
I know that people are gonna be like, "What?" But like, I don't think it's a good lifestyle to have. But that being said, if that's the way you roll, it's not my business. It's not my business to tell you that you have to do it a certain way, because then that takes away my privilege of being right.
Yeah. Don't let me stop you from getting
That
AIDS.
sounded way too snarky, but
But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's. If they want to do that and insist to do that, fine. It's
yeah,
not really the government's place to say no, or the people's place, but
yeah.
they
I guess,
shouldn't get special treatment because of it. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, you can live however you want to. Whether it's good or not, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm
I think
saying
the issue
you
also
shouldn't live that way, maybe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you can have your own opinions, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean you should. Everyone else needs to change their opinions
Right.
about you. It's kind of like letting a girl into the Boy Scouts because
Yeah.
she thinks she's a boy.
right.
She's not. It's not. I'm not saying she can't think
Yeah.
that. I'm saying that we can't all pretend that she's right.
Yeah, well,
It's
that's
just a
because
really
that's the thing, is like, that
situation.
brings up a whole nother issue, is like, should we allow gay couples to adopt? Because it's like, well, yeah, they should have rights to get married if they want to, but should that right override the right of a child to get a child without a home to get the best home they can? And so that brings up the issue of like family, and like is two dads the same as having a dad and a mom? I don't think so. I think you need both. I think you need both elements there, and I don't think that two men can fulfill that role in a child's life.
Yeah.
And so like I just think it's good. It's there's the whole good and best thingy.
Right.
We have to do what's best, and like it's hard because like we want things to be fair for everyone. But if you make it fair for those people who want to adopt, you're making it unfair for the child way. And like I'm sure there are people just like, oh no, I grew up without a mother and I'm fine. It's like if you for all you single parents out there, I applaud you, because you are truly living in a difficult situation. And like,
Yeah.
there's no shame.
I'm sorry.
There's
I'm
no
up here
shame
again
in
with
that. But it's still, for all these single moms out there, I understand it's difficult, and like you feel like, oh man, my son's not getting any father figure in his life, and I think it's important that you find someone, you know, not necessarily get a new man, but like find men in the church that are willing to, in some way play that role.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't have to be one man that is your husband. You know, if you're not ready for that kind of relationship, you know, say you just lost your husband, I'm sorry. You don't push yourself, you know. I understand it's difficult, but like, you know, it's also important for your children to have that father figure, and you know, you can't play both roles, and pretending you can is just gonna make it more difficult.
Right.
Sorry about that. Still working on that dumb footage.
Yeah. The laptop being, well, I guess it's more like the phone. His phone being annoying. I always have trouble trying to get footage off.
Again. Yeah, I just don't get it. It's
I
so
don't know,
strange.
dude. Try doing one at a time. Sometimes I have trouble with one thing of footage that won't do it. But
I got half of them to go.
okay, good.
But then, so I've got a good chunk of them. It's
Yeah,
just
I got some of them as well, but like it hit one that I was having trouble with.
Well,
Probably 'cause
I'll
it's a
try
large
that
file.
again in a bit, and maybe I'll
Yeah,
make it
give
work
it a
again.
rest.
So
I
strange.
don't know.
It was working perfectly, and then it just quit.
I was tempted to buy the Razer phone too,
Yeah,
but then I'm just like, there's so many other good phones to get. But when it comes to camera and microphone being great for vlogging,
yeah.
the iPhone just tops
The iPhone is
others.
just a really good vlogging camera. Like honestly, like I would much rather have like a DSLR with a flip out lens, but at the same time, the phone is just super convenient, and I really like it a lot.
And it's very uncommon for a phone with a good camera to sound that good as well. Because we've used it for videos and had like replaced the Rode NTG1 audio. And we've just popped it so you go from one to the other when your audio died. And
it has
you
a good
can't
mic.
really tell.
You can't really tell. Like it's a little more omnidirectional.
It is.
Like it captures all around rather than just one single area. But overall, like it's got a good microphone on it. Right. Anyway,
the only bad thing is the microphone is so small that it can't really handle louder sounds like drums and piano. Piano's okay,
but you're not going to
drums are
record
just,
using your phone for something like that.
Clearly not. I'm just saying that it's kind of interesting how voice can sound so good, and yet like it works perfect for voice, but anything else.
Well, that's why you have to have different kinds of mics because different mics can work in different ways. But anyway, speaking of single parents, like I was saying earlier, I went to see The Grinch the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's because I just wanted to see what it was all about. I actually legitimately thought it was a decent
without
film.
me?
I know, but like
Again?
I thought it was gonna be terrible.
What?
But it wasn't. Like I enjoyed it, and I don't know why people say it was a terrible movie.
I saw an ad for it. It didn't look terrible, actually.
The ads made it look like the commercials didn't make it look appealing at all. Like the trailers and stuff.
The one I saw was kind of funny because he was trying to sneak through the snow and it kept.
That was a funny part.
He was like,
"This is the loudest snow."
This is the loudest snow
Benedict
ever.
Cumberbatch did such a great job with his role, though. And the Grinch character was just really well done. Like none of the others, like the side characters, like Cindy Lou Who and her mom had their own story arc going along.
Oh, good.
And I didn't care for that at all.
Yeah.
It was just like it felt super empty on the Who's part. But the Grinch was so well done because it felt like he felt like such an introvert.
Right.
Like at the end where he's at the party, they arced it perfectly for like when an introvert goes to a party, he's just like trying to figure out how to act in front of everybody.
Right.
Shut up! iCloud account settings are out of date. But yeah, I thought the Grinch character was really well done. If they had more of that, it would have been really cool because and like they made it his relationship with Max be more like in the original animated thing he was like really mean to his dog.
Yeah.
In this one, he was actually like basically his dog was like his only friend, which is another introvert kind of tendency.
Yeah.
Is like to like separate yourself from society and just like have like your dog be like your friend.
Yeah.
And like and they didn't overdo his like whole backstory like I was afraid they would. They just like
right.
Literally, he was just alone, and like it wasn't like it didn't make. He never had like a rejection moment, like society rejected him. But like I think that's a big thing. Is like most introverts who like are alone all the time. They never like really had someone be like, "Go away with Susie, we don't like you." It was more just like they couldn't force themselves when they were younger to get out there and talk to people, and now and no one made the effort to really reach out to them, and so they couldn't
Yeah.
do it themselves, and so they continue to feel rejected just because.
Yeah.
Just because no one, it feels like no one's there for them.
So people, if you see a kid who's clearly going to be an introvert, make the effort to just
Yeah,
talk to him.
you'll
It might make a
you
huge
have no idea how great that feels for like an introvert, for someone to actually go up and strike up a conversation.
Because it is terrifying and so hard to do
yeah,
it.
but when somebody
then you
does it,
feel
it's just like
on
such a
you.
relief. You're just like, thank you so
Yeah,
much. You have no
mhm.
idea how much I wanted to
Yeah.
talk to someone.
It's
Not-
like,
like,
say,
not even
say
like-
if you don't understand, picture this, you're trying to get up the courage to talk to a person you have interests in.
Yeah.
Okay? What feels better? You walking up and having a good conversation with them, or them coming up and having a conversation with you? You feel
Yeah.
so much more confident when they do it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, but yeah, like and that
And I'm not saying it's exactly the same. I'm just saying
and for
that-
those of you who are introverts, probably a little over 50% of you. Well, those of you who are listening, probably most of you are introverts.
probably most of you.
But don't isolate yourself too much, guys. Like
That's another good
try
Toto
to
song.
make yourself get out
You
there
ever heard
somewhat.
Isolation by Toto?
I
I'm
have
sorry,
not.
I brought up another 80s
Great
reference,
joke.
but Isolation
Great
by,
joke.
Isolation
Bringing
by
up
Toto
a
is
band that no one
very
cares
good
about
song.
anymore. That's one of my favorite South Park references.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
loves Toto, and then one guy, yeah, Toto.
There was actually the band Rush in one of their they did a song called Mark Twain. No, not Mark Twain. The Huckleberry Finn.
Huckleberry Finn, Mark Sawyer.
Tom Sawyer. I think
Tom
they did a
Sawyer,
song
sorry.
called Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
But anyway, in the beginning, they actually had a South Park clip.
Really.
And they were all on the instruments, and it was
Uh-huh.
Little Rush or Lil
Little
Rush.
Rush.
Yes, and they were like singing the song, and Eric was doing it all messed up. And he was like, "That's not how it goes." He was like, "Yeah, it was. He got on a boat with a black dude and took off." He was like, "That wasn't Tom Sawyer. That was Huckleberry Finn." And it's like, yeah, it was like the same song, but it was like, and then the
Oh.
screen, like the projector thing
Yeah.
drops, and then
Yeah.
there they are, and like
That's
the
amazing.
South Park people start, the kids in South Park start
Uh-huh.
playing the song, and the thing drops, and there they are actually playing the song.
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm not a huge South Park fan. There's a lot of things.
I'm a
in this
big
show-
South Park fan. Like I'm not.
There's-
I'm not gonna pretend, guys. Like I like that. I love that show a lot. I've been watching like starting from episode 1, going through. I've made it to episode 4 now.
Goodness. But
Season
anyway,
4, sorry,
I
season 4.
sure I like a lot of the stuff about it. I think they make some great points, especially when it comes to like divorce and stuff. Homeschooling, not so much, but
Yeah, they
just
kind
because
of
you
got
disagree
homeschooling
with
wrong.
something, yeah, they kind of.
I think like the thing about South Park is it's a show that's made to offend you in order
Mm.
to make you think. Like a lot of people treat it like, oh, South Park is just like offensive jokes. Like no, it's offensive because it's made to trigger you.
Yeah.
If you're triggered by South Park, great job. You did exactly what they designed the show to make you do.
Yeah. I'm just saying that there of course are a lot of things.
Well,
that
yeah. I mean, like I wouldn't recommend it for kids watching it.
Oh, absolutely.
But, like, you know,
I
if
feel
you
like
want-
it's better.
if
Than,
you want a show that
to
will
say
really make
it's
you
definitely better
think.
than something like Family Guy or those other shows that I
Yeah.
don't really know much about, and I
Yeah.
know they're okay,
It's
but
like it's an adult show that actually has some
Yeah.
redeeming qualities to it, and it
Right,
isn't just
right.
like, oh look, dumb humor.
I mean, there are some R-rated movies that I
Careful
say
not to push
it's-
the power button on the
I'm
computer.
watching that. I'm watching
Okay,
that.
thanks.
Yeah, every time I prop my foot up on the computer, there's this perfectly placed power button right in the center where you want to rest your foot and you turn it off. That has happened so many times.
I sometimes like little brother Samuel. He's like how old is he?
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
He'll rest his
like,
hand on it and
he'll like
whoop.
push the button just out of curiosity. He's like Samuel.
Well, what you ought to do is tape like a plastic shell thing
Like a little
over
cap
it.
on it.
A little
But then
cap,
I
and
won't
then
be
you
able to
fold.
turn it on.
Well, you fold it up and push the button. You know?
That would be a good idea. Anyway, what were
There's
you
a reason
saying?
they have a locked cap over self-destruct buttons.
Like, has there ever been an actual like self-destruct button?
Well, remember in the I was saying something, but you know what? I'm just gonna drop it for now.
Screw it.
Ready Player One. The
Yeah.
button that erases the entire Oasis.
Yeah.
How he almost fell onto it and erased it. He was like, try not to erase it the
Try
first
not
day.
to do that.
That was quite funny.
But like, no one would like just put
It's
a
just like
button
a button right
accessible.
there. You like lean against the wall. Oh, there it goes.
I mean, there are like when it comes to like programming stuff, there's shortcuts that'll like screw up an entire server or something.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, just like don't
put like Eggman
don't make
said.
access.
Who
Don't make
puts a shut off on the
don't-
Doomsday device? So therefore, don't put self-destruct buttons.
It's
on
like in
anything.
Spaceballs, which is another film we need to watch. Just like the so like the self-destruct button, somebody set it off. But then, like, it's like, this is your final moment to hit the cancellation button. Like, cancellation button! And they open it up and it's out of order. It's like, shout, even in the future, nothing works. That was a great film.
It kind of reminds you of Robin Hood Men in Tights. I have a feeling
That's another
Spaceballs
good
is
one.
probably better.
Actually, I think they had the same director, Mel Gibson.
Oh, really?
I think those are both Mel Gibson films.
I just feel like those are most comedy films from back there. It's kind of like Fast and Furious. They push that PG-13 as far as they can.
Yeah, well, those are both R.
What?
Those are both R.
What are R?
Robin Hood Men in Tights and
They're not rated R.
Spaceballs?
Is it?
Spaceballs is definitely rated R. They have several F-bombs in there.
Oh. Robin Hood Men in Tights is only PG-13.
Okay, I figured it'd have to
Okay,
be at least
I feel a little bit better about that now. I
mean, like, that makes sense, but, like,
Goodness.
Robin Hood Men in Tights had several S words in it, so I kind of thought that maybe those... How many S words can you get away with in PG-13?
I don't think they even count them anymore.
Okay, so it's like only one F word is like the...
I think that's what it's supposed to be, but the director's cut can have like 3 or something.
Okay.
Because the director's cut of...
Well, the director's cut has to
The
be rated R,
Wolverine
though.
actually was only rated PG-13, but they had at least 2 in it. The director's cut of X-Men Days of Future Past had 3.
Yeah, but that one is... That one's technically rated R, kind of like the Batman v Superman. The
Oh, really?
director's cut is like rated
Shoot.
R.
Well, yeah, but that's because there's a tiny bit of nudity in it.
Yeah, you see Ben Affleck's booty.
No. The girl in the bathtub.
Oh.
You can see her a little bit better in that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I heard. Because I was like, what is the difference other than some swear words?
Yeah, but you also had but you also had some Ben Affleck butt in there, so you know. That's
boy.
pretty freaking sweet. You know what another movie we need to watch this year is? Soon?
What?
The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh. That would be kind of cool to watch.
Have you ever heard of it?
Huh.
Hang on, I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna look this up real quick, and we're gonna close we're gonna finish the podcast off soon because we're getting on the hour mark. But I wanna look this up while I'm thinking about it. I should have all of a sudden think about it. Okay, Kermit Scrooge scene. I'm pretty sure he was Scrooge. Let's see if I can't find it. Whoop! Come on. Muppet Christmas Carol. We'll try this one. Beautiful. Oh, he's Mr. Cratchit.
Very well. You may gift wrap them.
Let us help you with that, Mr. Cratchit.
Oh, my, there are certainly a lot today.
We'll get it.
Okay. There you go.
Oh, Kermit looks so good in this suit. We need to get some
do.
some toddler clothes
Christmas
for
is a very
Kermit.
busy time for us, Mr. Cratchit. People preparing feasts, giving parties, spending the mortgage money on frivolities. One might say that December is the foreclosure season. Harvest time for the moneylenders.
If you please, Mr. Scrooge, it's gotten colder. And the bookkeeping staff would like to have an extra shovel full of coal for the fire.
We can't do the bookkeeping. All of our pens have turned to inksicles. Our assets are frozen.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly...
I believe you convinced me once again, Mr. Scrooge.
Oh goodness.
Oh, we gotta.
That seems pretty cool. That's
So there you go. Our recommendation for this week. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, sure.
I thought about like doing that like every week, recommending
Have
something.
a recommendation for like we should do that like top because like the gas station I go to guys top
Yeah.
song, top book, top
Yeah,
movie, top.
here's our top picks of the week. Our movie recommendation. I'm gonna make mine The Grinch. I recommend everyone go see it. It's nice. It's a nostalgic film. I don't expect it to be great, but if you take your kids to see it, it'll be a nice family experience. The jokes won't make you laugh, but the film it makes it. I don't know. It made me feel some stuff. It made me
Recommended
happy.
song. It is not going to be the top of the week, but it's definitely going to be one of the.
Well, what's
greatest
your
songs.
recommended movie for this week?
Oh, I just figured we'd do one of each.
Oh, okay, all right.
You know, just so we don't have to try to
recommended
come up with as many. But I'm definitely going to go with REO Speedwagon, Can't Fight This Feeling.
Okay.
It is a really good song. I hadn't heard it before. I never really listened to it, and then when I finally did, I was like, this is really good.
Yeah.
It's beautifully done. The harmony is fantastic. What do you think, top book? Do you have a top book to recommend?
Top book. Let me think real quick. I've recently, I can't recommend it yet, but I've recently picked up Me, Myself, and Bob by Phil Vischer.
Yeah.
Basically a story of his life and his
Right,
time at Big
right.
Idea Productions and how that whole thing came to a close.
That would be very cool. I need to read that.
I'm gonna read it at some point, and I'll let you guys know either next week or the next one.
Right, right.
Either next episode or the next one. What I think of that, if I remember, we will just see.
I'm
but
trying
anyway,
to think of a really great game now to top it all off with, because there's so many good ones. I mean, everyone's already played Breath of the Wild, but definitely if you haven't, check it out. If you have a Switch,
that's a good recommendation.
If you already have, check out Mario Odyssey.
Well, what
check
about
out
new
all
games?
Switch games. Maybe some. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
yeah,
you
trying to
probably
think of new
played a bunch of
games.
new ones. So
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, you know, if we recommend old games, that's kind of not a good recommendation.
That's true. You
I think
can't-
our recommendation for this week should be Spyro, because it's
Okay.
coming out actually the day this podcast releases.
Oh, nice.
So check it out. The Reignited trilogy is out. I'm looking forward to it.
I was almost gonna buy a PlayStation 4 because my buddy's been trying to talk me into it.
I'm gonna buy one.
I know. I told him I'm just
Okay,
gonna wait to
yeah.
play on yours, so I bought a pistol instead.
Sweet. What the heck?
What are you doing?
He's got a gun!
Let me grab my gun.
Go,
Grab my gun.
no,
I unload this stupid thing.
No!